Flash, blast, and smoke. When creating explosions, it's tempting to just spit out a blast of fire and call it a day, right? This is a game called Star Force, released in arcades in 1984. It's a Tecmo title, though at the time they went by the name Tekken. As shoot 'em ups go, the game is exhilarating and fun. I definitely recommend it. Now, take a look at the pixel animation for these explosions. It's 5 frames. The blast starts as a flash of light, then turns to smoke and disappears. Especially for the time, this was a very well-made explosion. You'd be surprised at how few shoot 'em ups put this much thought into these details. This is an explosion from Smash Bros. There are many variations of this, but they all follow the same general rules. First, there's a flash of light. It's instantaneous. That quick burst of light immediately tells players that something intense just happened. You can see the light rays are quite long compared to the actual blast range. Now, purely white light will be hard to see on white backgrounds, so be careful. In this animation, you can see we've mixed in some black elements as well. There's also a shockwave and a flare effect. Next comes the blast itself. This is our flashy roar of flames, leaping out from the center point. The blast is key to a good explosion, so it's vital to get right. See how it's still nice and crisp here? We also mix in some sparks, all while preserving the momentum. How long the hit registers will vary depending on the game, but we don't keep it going for the entire duration of the blast. Next comes some black smoke. There are still flames at this point, but the smoke really starts taking over, and the flames are drawn to look like they're waning. Finally, the conclusion. From a pure gameplay perspective, it would be better if the smoke cleared instantly, but a shorter explosion would lack impact. Letting the explosion reach its natural conclusion and showing players where it took place is vital. We don't want to cut that short. Oh, and this wasn't in the footage so far, but here we've worked in some sparkle effects which flicker one after the next. You can also try having the whole screen flash when the explosion occurs, or adding some screen shake for a bit of extra punch. Screen shake in particular can really change how the explosion feels, so make sure to use appropriate effects. Depending on the type of explosion, we'll also create separate effects for if it happens on the ground versus in the air. This is the explosion from one of young Link's bombs. When it's on the ground, the blast spreads upwards and the shockwave follows the ground surface. Explosions come in various forms, like the slow, long spread from a smart bomb, for example, and each of them calls for its own unique know-how and means of expression. Stage clear.